Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Okay, and you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
Someone else, on the other hand,
Well, I have a cold.
I think I gave her my cold from last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And Mark, you know what? She had the audacity to complain that I never share with her.
Giving is sharing.
Yes. All right, with all that said, let's get started with Sunday Funday. We're underway. I have no more rhyming words, so we just have to start. To get started, we're gonna come to the back ends of our mat. We're gonna take our heels into the corners of the mat, which means our toes are gonna be angled in towards the center line. I'd like you to bring as much straightness to the legs as you can. We're just starting the warming process, so don't expect you're gonna get absolute straightness, but just start to work towards it and then shift left to right. And as we begin to shift left to right, keep that going on. And I'd like you to kind of embrace the spinal column simply by pulling in the belly and crowding out the chest and letting the arms fall to the side. And then we're going to hold on this pattern for a couple more side thrusts. And then we're going to bring it back center. And when we do, I'd like you now to take your heels and try to spiral them outwards. So they have an outwardly rotation. You should feel a little bit of activation up and around the hips on the outside. We're going to keep that as we draw the hips back and begin to fold forward. Now, I want you to fold partially, come back up, and progressively see if you can get a little deeper while you keep your spine neutral and while you keep those heels rotating externally. And as you might find, as the muscles vascularize, the range increases with a little more effort. Don't force through, just kind of let it go to where it's got a nice tension through those back or posterior muscles. And then on the next rising that you make, let's hold up, let's bring the arms into this. We're gonna bring our elbows into the sides of the body to make fists out of our hands with the thumbs aiming up the sky. I'm going to draw the elbows backwards. Now we have a very pronounced chest. I'd like you to keep that six pack engaged, and we're going to go through the same motion. Down. Feel this. Very important with this exercise we're doing is to keep that external rotation of the heels through the whole range of motion.
What does that do?
It's helping to exercise those little muscles that provide lateral stability. All right, now come back up, step it out, shake it out the hands, shake out the legs and arms. Have the toes aligning straight forward. Let's bring the hands out, shoulder height. Separate your fingers nice and widely. Now I'd like you to kind of scapate, which basically means I'd like you to shift the shoulders forward and then draw them back. And I'm going to push forward and back a few more times. And as you do this, I want you to register any compression areas, like in the neck, for example. If you're compressing through that, I'd like you to try to make the neck nice and long. All we really want to do here is just shift shoulders forward and back. We're really kind of getting blood flow into those muscles that help to stabilize the shoulders. Let's hold it back now and bring the palms together and interlock the fingers. Now, I'm going to start putting some stuff together. I'm going to take my feet a little wider in stance than the hips, just allow for my mobility in my hips to be realized better as I start to squat down. Now, I'm going to keep palms together, fingers interlocked, and I'm raising and lowering at a nice, slow, steady, up and down rate of speed. Enjoy the movement down. Seeing each subsequent lowering, if I can get a little deeper. I'm also making a registration of my knees, making sure they're not splaying out or in. I'm trying to control that through the whole range of motion. Let's do a couple more repetitions. Slowly down, slowly up. And last one, down, hold down here, release the interlocking, separate the arms shoulder width, raise the hands, and then sweep them down and back. And do that a couple more times. On the up motion, try to reach high. And the same thing with the back. One more time up, one more time back. Stand tall, open the palms to face forward, arms are straight. Draw the shoulders up to the ears. With the elbows bending, pull them backwards and keep the palms facing forward. Big breath in. As you exhale, draw your hips back and fold forward. Come back up. Now, when we drop forward, try to prevent the hand from pushing forward. I want you to try to keep those baby fingers on the hips. Folding down, coming back up. A couple more times. Now the next time up, serve it up. Forearm to forearm, baby finger to baby finger. Flip the palms, open the palms, and do that a few more times. Now hold palms to the sky. See if you can kind of rotate those thumbs towards the earth, through the spiraling downward. And now serve a little deeper, and then draw the shoulders back. So arms are going one direction, shoulders are going the opposite. Hold on that, squat it down. Push back up. Do that a couple more times. Try to keep the hands from folding inwardly. As you rise up, hold up. Draw your elbows to the rib cage, trace them, pull them all the way back. Squat it down. Squat, push, right, push it back up. Do that a couple more times. Hold up, relax everything, shake it out, salute the sun, fold it all the way down, walk it out to plank. In plank, we're going to rock forward and back, drifting shoulders over wrists, and then driving heels back, down towards the earth, pushing to the toes as you move forward, heels driving to the earth as you move backwards. Try to keep the upper body moving in the same plane. So we're not raising hips or shoulders. It's just a transition forward and back, with the back remaining parallel to the earth. Hold it back, pull up and back the hips to down dog. Push up to the tippy toes, drive the heels to the earth, and do that a couple more times. Come back to your plank, lower down onto the knees. As we position ourselves onto all fours, I'd like you to bring the hands a little wider than shoulder width, the knees a little wider than hip. Let's keep our toes tucked under, and let's take our left leg and slide it back. So this is a variation of the world's greatest stretch. And we're going to progress this. So this is the first level here. You're going to take your right arm, reach it up beside the body. Now, before we do any further movement, I'd like you to try to stabilize any lateral or forward or back shift. So all we're going to do is just simply raise the shoulder to the sky. And then back down and switch up sides. And we're going to go through this a number of times. And as we go through, I'm going to add a little extra cueing. Like, for example, when the left leg goes back, I'd like you to take the heel of that left foot and drive it towards the earth, keeping the body stable as the shoulder reaches for the sky, and then reset on the opposite side. Feel a nice stretch through many areas of the body here.
Why is this the world's greatest stretch?
It's one of the world's greatest stretches because it really kind of encapsulates a lot of the muscles. I like the way it's like muscles. I'm going to be like on a lot of muscles that help to provide lateral and rotational stability that often gets shut down through sedentary behavior. So let's hold it down this time, back onto all fours. We're going to lift the hips up into a narrow stance, down dog. Drive the heels to the earth. Nice. Now, walk out to plank. Step your right foot up and in between the hands. They're framed. And this is the progression. So, with the foot, right foot in this case,
in place. We're gonna take the left knee to the earth. And now we're gonna take our right arm, sweep it out, and then lift that right shoulder to the sky. And then lower, and I'm gonna do this a couple times. Sorry, Mrs. Princess. 2. And third time. Hold this down, and now we're gonna switch sides. Left side reaches out, open and close. This is a shorter range of motion. And then when you've done 3, step back the leg, step forward the opposite leg, knee comes to earth, start it up on the left side, open, close, open, and close. You got it, right? And then when you've got 3, switch to the opposite side. All right, stepping it back to plank. Hover it low, push it back up. Do that 2 more times. And step the right foot back forward. This time we're staying off the left knee unless it's best for you today to be on it. Right shoulder opens and closes. Try to keep the arm nice and straight, locked up through the elbow. On 3, switch sides. And when you're done, switch legs. And when you're done, step it back to plank. 3 hover high and lows at your own pace. And then up and back to down dog. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Find a nice resting place, feet slightly wider than the hip width. Float forward, float back. Find the weight equal front to back in the foot and the sensation of the weight bearing. When you've got that, inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, let the spine flex. Inhale, extend. Flex and fold. Do that a couple more times. And then hold, spine extended. Step your palms onto your shins. Now, if your elbows have rotated internally, externally rotate them. Proud out your chest. Push the palms as you proud out the chest. Feel that nice activation across the upper back. Keep that nice activation as you bend both knees and lower that booty and raise the shoulders, keeping that nice activation. Sweep the hands forward. Pulse up and down. Pulse up and down with the legs and the arms. Throw them together. Now, stand tall. Salute the sun. Drop hands over heart. Step the right foot forward. Nice separation of left and right foot. We're going to take the left heel, drive it down to the earth, hold it down on the earth or close to the earth, and then push back up onto the toes. And then do that a couple more times. On the next push up, step it forward, switch up sides, same setup, opposite side, same exercise on the opposite side. And step it forward. Front part of our mat is going to bring the feet slightly narrower than the width of the mat. I'm going to take our toes, I'm going to open them so that they come off the mat. Got a nice open angle, almost about 90 degrees. You kind of look down, feet about 90 degrees. We're going to hold on that with hands over heart, and we're going to start to lower down our booty. Now, there's a possibility of different muscles taking over with
trend that we're going, I like you to try to drop your butt right down towards the heels. You know, pushing forward or pulling back. Now, when you lower, I like you to take the ball of each big toe and make that the focus point right there. When you push back up, I like you to try to drive the heels into the earth as the body rises. So ball of toe down, heel up. Keep practicing until you notice more engagement of those posterior muscles, activated mostly by when we're trying to drive the heel. Really try to force more load into those posterior muscles. Better innervation, better use, better function, all result. So, ball of toe down, hold, shift the weight back ever so slightly, don't topple. Now, pulse. See if you can get a little lower as you pulse. See if that helps and pull out, lengthen out those muscles. And then slowly, with the heels driving, come back up, shake it out, enjoy the relief off of those thighs and gluteals. Let the arms fall to the side, crowd out the chest, shoulders roll up to ears, palms turn forward, fingers separate finally. Hold on this nice elongated upper body as you spiral comes backwards. Excuse me. To further engage those muscles across the back of the shoulders. Let's keep those things active as you pull forward. One of the things that'll happen on occasion is we'll release the shoulders and rotate internally. I like you to practice external rotation as you pull both the up and the down. You can almost imagine, if you can, comes to spiral back when you're using the whole arm and shoulder carries backwards, folding forward, and coming back up. Now, if you're tensioning through the neck, I like to keep that nice and relaxed. Often the muscles start to delegate responsibility when you're fatigued. So I want you to be mindful that you're not compressing. We do this exercise on the next rep. Hold up, shake it out, take it down to the mat. I'm going to grab some water. Cheers to everybody. Cheers to funny little honey. Oh. All right. Slide all the way down. You can take your left foot, and it's going to be a few inches off of your butt, that butt cheek. You can take your right foot, bring it on to that left thigh. So it's like a figure four. In fact, it is a figure four stretch. Now, right now, we're just going to inwardly and externally rotate and open up that right hip. As you do so, I want you to be mindful that you're not shifting all the way around. So to work the hips mobility, we're trying to isolate the movement of all other things so you can focus on how far out you're going, how far in you're going, without the assistance of the rest of your body. So in this next opening, hold it out. See if you can exert a little more force from the muscles of the legs, not pushing with the hands. I'm trying to rotate just a slight greater opening if possible. And then release that, switch up sides. Yep, foot is flexed. It's simply a hip movement, stretch slash exercise. All right, now let's lower that down. Switch up sides and add a little variation into this now. So we're going to take our ankle and push it into the thigh. And while you hold that now, we're going to take our left
thigh and pull it into the body. Now I'm using no assistance from the hands. See if you can do it that way. Try to pull, and then resist as the right leg tries to push the left back to the earth. It goes all the way down. So the left foot goes all the way down to the earth and then draw it back up. So it's resisting both ways. The next repetition, if you feel that left hip flexor burning good, we're going to add a little more to the right side by wrapping around the left hamstrings. Both hands wrap. Now, I'd like you to pull with the assistance of the arms and of the muscles of the leg, the left leg closer to the body. Feel the intensity build in that right outside cheek. Oh, doesn't that feel wonderful? Words cannot express the joy. And then as I release that, we're going to switch up sides. Same thing, opposite side. I only say that because I like to. All right, so pushing the heel or ankle, I'm sorry, making the rotation happen in and out, just in case you forgot. Some of us have people working beside us that people often I'm just joking. Now, pull out, keep that external rotation. Left leg pulls in and lowers. And do that a couple more times and doing a slightly different order than last time, I know. Resisting in, resisting out, holding in this time, wrapping and pulling up. And then releasing, extending legs all the way straight. Good job. Taking the heels to the corners of the mats. You're gonna drive the heels forward, flex the toes, flex the feet, keeping the feet flexed. You're gonna try to bring the back of the legs towards the mat. And as we try to cement down onto the mat, those leg spars, I like you to bring the hands up, right up over the chest, and then sweep the arms backwards. And then bring the arms all the way up, and then Pilates style, all the way up, 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 up. You inhale, extend to a flat back, walk those hands back in as we come into staff pose. Excuse me, I grabbed some water. Our staff pose. Going to keep the toes, the feet flexed. So as we keep that flexion realized, I'd like you to bring the hands out to the sides on both hips. I'm going to take the right arm now, reach it up, and I'm going to bring it across the midline of the body. My pelvic girdle is nestled on the mat, so I'm not raising my right cheek to sweep across. I'm using my left arm to support. I'm bending the elbow, but I'm growing both sides of my rib cage simultaneously. However, of course, the right side is growing longer than the left. I'm going to bring that arm back down, straighten out both arms, shoot that left arm up into the air. Right elbow bends, left arm sweeps across, growing the arm, growing, feeling that length, almost like someone's pulling on the fingers, that left hand. Come back down, switch sides, up, pull, pull. The most important part is the lifts of the ribs, both sides. Come on back down, switch up sides. We're going to do one more repetition on each side. Such a great stretch for our lateral or side body muscles, our lats. All those muscles that get abused when we sit. Seems like everything gets abused when we sit, and that would be correct.
Why do we sit?
Yeah. Well, why we sit is because we do need rest on occasion, but sometimes we take more than what we need. All right, back to staff pose. You're going to walk it forward again, stretch out that low back,
back up. To seated, back to staff. That stretch often feels so good for a lot of people because we have a femoral thoracic. A structure that basically is a tendon or ligament, mostly tendinous, that holds all of the muscles of the back and your butt onto it. So the thoracolumbar fascia is really stretched out, lengthened out all the muscles. It feels good. Are you digging it? Yeah, that's called a great time. Talking to a break. Now, with chest nice and proud, I'm going to bring my palms onto my thighs, keep my toes nice and flexed. Feel that nice length, a decompression, if you will, through the spinal column. I'm going to take my right ear, drop it down to my right shoulder. My face isn't changing direction, it's facing straight forward. One of the things I'm trying to garner control over is the inward rotation of my shoulders when we go from side to side. And come back up center, let the chin drop down towards the chest, raise back up, all the way to the sky, drop it down all the way, raise it back up, hold it up, and then just turn from side to side, shake at the head. Is anyone else here a rattling sound?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, bad job. All right, step left foot, right foot in. Toes are on the corners of the mats. I like you to take the heels and angle them inwardly towards the center line of the body. And I like you to splay open the legs. Now I've got hands wrapped on the kneecaps. So I'm going to hold on that as I crowd out the chest. Right now, I'm going to basically take my feet, move them back to the earth, and then use my heels as the hinge point as I draw the thighs together. So the hinge is really the heels. I'm really rolling on the outside of them. So I open up, I'm crowding up. And as I'm closing, I'm going to start to go spinal flexion. So I'm crowding as I open and flexing as I rotate internally. So this pattern is what our body is used to do. We sit and rotate internally. And the counteraction of this is external rotation. Now, coincidentally, it's not true. Because normally when we sit, our legs splay open and our upper body flexes too. So we're doing something that's reprogrammatic. So I'm going to hold up now, step the legs out, because reprogrammatic is opposites of what we typically do. Now, legs extended, take the hands back down. I'm going to stretch all the muscles that interact with the rumble. Walk it back up. Lie it all the way down. Oh. Step both feet in, a little wider than hip width apart. We're going to take the thighs and bring them in together. And we're going to do a little bit of pelvic rocking. Now, so right now, if I went underneath your lower back and I could slip my fingers there, I'd like you to try to, as best you can, eliminate that. I'd like you to try to get the lumbar or lower spine on the mat. I often refer to it as the low skin touching the mat. So if you can try to achieve that, great. And if you can't, try to activate the muscles that allow that to happen and keep those muscles active. Those are your six pack, really. So if you keep that, I'd like you now to squeeze your thighs together. So we have everything kind of working together. Lumbar extension, inner thigh squeezing, working hard, crowding out the chest, keeping everything else tension free. Tensions in those inner thigh muscles as they squeeze harder and relax everything. Extend the legs all the way out, about hip width apart. Feel like a nice release for those hip flexors just above the hip or through them. We're going to take the hands above the head. We're going to reach them long. Now, one of the things we're going to do a little differently here, instead of letting the arms just fall on the ground, I'd like you to have them so you can see in your peripheral vision the arms. So the palms face the sky. Now I want you to pull, shift the shoulders up. See how much distance you can create by reaching
not directly back, but slightly ahead, so the hands are just slightly ahead of the eyes. You can see maybe the palms in your vision, right kind of in that spot. Pull, 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 point the toes, flex the foot, point, flex, point, flex, point, slower, flex, slower, one more point, one more flex, keep the foot in flexion, Pilates style, and back up, and dive it down. Oh. Hold for a couple breaths. Walk your hands towards your feet, and if possible, overlap palms onto the toes and onto the feet. And if it's not possible, you can also use a towel. I have my feet spread widely. You need to bring them closer together. That's fine. So what we're going to do is the base of the hand, like if I get that onto the toes, and use the base to kind of pull the toes down. So we're like hyperextending those toes. And if you kind of feel with your fingers, you can kind of feel tendons on the bottom of your feet. Those muscles are, those tendons are part of our walking stability. So I like you to kind of stretch out those muscles. Get a nice lengthening. Crowd out the chest. Grow the spine. You're going to feel the nature of the pull start to go up the back of the leg. Try to flex the foot, crowding out the spine, growing the spine, pulling the toes inwardly. Oh, feel a nice lower leg stretch going on. If you're enjoying that, continue to enjoy it. A couple more breaths. On the next breath, release everything. Step both feet in, and we come into 1990. Not 1990, but 90 and 90. And I'm setting up with the left leg forward first, stepping the right leg back. And I'm going to come down onto my left elbow. So if you're on the right leg first, would be the right elbow, left leg is left elbow, of course. All right, so there's an angle of about 45 degrees in the spinal column. I like to try to keep that. And the head, you know, you can do whatever with it, just as long as it's looking forward. Let's take your right arm, reach it up into the sky. Now, with that arm reaching to the sky, I like to turn the palm towards the head, and then sweep that arm towards the ear. And it's really slightly in front. I want you to see peripherally the right arm, so it's just in front of that right eye. Grow, grow, grow. Try to reach. Imagine there's $1 million bill just a couple inches away, and see if you can kind of reach for it without shifting any of your bottom. So it's just all lateral. Now, rotate the shoulder forward, rotate the shoulder backwards, keep that arm reaching, do that a couple more times. And then come all the way back with that arm. Keep on the left forearm. Nice. Now, I'd like you to take the right knee and lift it up off the earth, and then lower it back down. So external rotation effort is just in the right side. Raising and lowering. The hinge point is kind of like the ball of the right foot, ball of the big toe, of course, and also the heel. So we're lowering down and raising up slowly. Do that a couple more times. If it's cramping, take a break. If you can work through the cramp, good. That cramp will eventually go away, 20, 30 years. Now, hold that right knee down. I'm going to lean in a little forward so we have a better opportunity. So I like to take your right hip and rotate it inward. While you do that, I like to take your right foot and lift it up off the earth and then lower. So it's the same exercise of raising and lowering. While that right hip rotates towards the earth, you might find it more accessible for that external rotation for the hip, which is what we're doing when we lift the foot. Let's lower it down, come back up,
So this is an intermediary type of thing, this is a learned type of thing. Come over the opposite side, some of this might find this a little advanced. And it's fine, just give me your best version of this. Any version of this is good, it's just, that's a process to open up. All right, so down onto the forearm, left arm reaches to the sky. Palm turns to face the head, reach the arm. Really reach it. Try to imagine that $1 million prize. Pull, 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 pull. Try not to bend through the elbow, try to lengthen the arm. That's most important for the effectiveness of the stretch. And then sweep it back
What are you doing?
Go to the back.
down onto the forearm,
Wait, can you wait 10 minutes?
raising, lowering, left leg. Again, it's just a hinging on that left foot, slowly up, slowly down. When we race sometimes, we get more momentum. This is more of a muscle stretch and muscle activation exercise. When you can take the speed out of it. That right knee finds its place. Let's take the left hip, rotate it internally, and start on the left foot, raising and lowering. Now, the distance it gets off the earth is really irrelevant. What is relevant is muscle activation. And when your body starts to garner more activation, less resistance, because it becomes more familiar with this movement process, you'll find that the range of motion often increases. But again, it's a process, it takes time. The fact that you're doing it is good. Now hold it down, back up, all the way around. You're going to bring both feet onto the earth with the heels on the earth, feet in flexion wider than hip width apart. I'm going to get onto my ischium or sit bones. I'm going to stick the chest, make it nice and proud. So I look forward. I'm not craning the neck. I'm a nice 90-degree bend, really. Neck and chin, and crowding through the chest. I'm just simply working on my proud chest. And I can feel the muscles of the back work now. I'm going to keep the chest proud and release the right hand. So that's going to be more for stability exercise here. We're practicing stabilization of some of the spinal muscles. We switch, same thing. I'm going to work both sides. So just alternating left and right. But make sure you anchor the hand first before you release the opposite. Reach it forward so that shoulders, everything's remaining neutral. Have a nice proud chest. And then pull both down. I'm going to readjust slightly, and now I'm going to take both out, and I'm going to keep them out. And I'm going to bring both palms together, interlock the fingers. To keep the chest proud, I'm going to make a slight rotation. So I rotate so that my palms come right over the knee. Hands come to the opposite knee. And rotate a couple times. And come back center. Bring hands back over heart. Tuck under the pelvic girdle and down one vertebrae at a time, all the way down. Legs extend all the way up. Flex the toes. Flex the feet. Sorry, extend the foot. Flex the foot. Extend and keep the toes pointing. Sweep the arms all the way back. Fingers pull one direction, toes pull opposite. Fill up those lungs one more time. And as you release it, bring the feet back in flexion, bring the hands back over chest, chin rocks in the chest, Pilates style, up we come. Keep the flexion in your spine as you dive the fingers between the feet. As you inhale, extend to a flat back and sweep those legs all around the backside. Coming into our low plank position.
Now, before we get into it, I'd like you to come down to a baby cobra, and I'd like you to take your elbows, and I'm going to look down, and I want you to try to position them slightly forward of the shoulder. This is very important for the serratus. We want to make sure those muscles are active and our support through our core. And I'm going to ask you to scapate a little bit. I'm going to drop the chest down, push it back up, and do that for a couple repetitions. And then I'd like you to drop it down, hold it down, tuck your toes under, make sure your feet are about hip width apart. And I'd like you to take your belly button and pull it up and into the spine. And while you keep that active, I'd like you to keep on your knees, but raise your hips up about shoulder height. And then lower, back down to start baby cobra. Follow up, pull up that belly button, lift up the hips. Knees remain on the earth. Lower back down. Relax it all. Suck it up, lift it up, hold it up, lower it back down. Continue on these repetitions for a few more times. On the next repetition, hold up. Now, take your elbows and try to pull them towards your feet. Draw, draw, draw. And then relax everything back down. Slip your hands under your shoulders. Great job. How's that core work feel? Now, let's extend the feet so we're out of the tops of each foot. And we're going to feel a nice pull for the head, nice and long. We're going to take our right hand, lift it up off the earth, so the palm's still underneath the shoulder, but it's just elevated. And we're going to switch sides. We're going to alternate side to side. Remember, hand hits the earth before the opposite side lifts. This is a little more strenuous for our rotational stabilizer muscles of the spine. It's all good though, it's very well protected here. Yeah, you gotta keep your face looking down, but keep it elevated up off the earth. Take a break if it's too much work for those neck muscles. It's not about taxing one, work the other ones now. Pull both down, tuck your toes under, and draw your hips up and back to child's pose. All right, now let's walk the hands back under, back onto all fours. Oops, gotta get it back space. I'm gonna take my fingers and separate them nice and widely. I'm gonna take my elbows and spiral them inwardly, and then I'm gonna scapate again. So a little bit of shoulder dominance today as we do this exercise. I'd like you to try to mitigate any kind of other joint action. So it's just simply the shoulders shifting forward and back. And then let the chest kind of descend down in between the arms, hold it down. And let's take your tailbone and tuck it under. So we're kind of like taking your pubis area and pulling it up towards the belly button. We often refer to this as cat. Let the head descend, let it descend. Pull the center of the spine towards the sky. As you fill your lungs now, push that chest back down through those arms and then take the tailbone back ahead towards the sky. Now, while we hold on this, I'd like you to hollow out the belly. I'd like you to try to pull your belly up and into the spine. Feel a nice tension for those gut muscles, and then going to keep that tension as we tuck under and lower the head and draw the spine center to the sky. And then relax that. Step both feet forward. We're in a folded position. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. Keep the back in extension. Draw the hips backwards, walk the hands forward. Big breath in as you exhale it. Release this, let the upper body fold down. As you inhale, unfold.
Sweep your arms to the sky after watching the film. Exhale, arms relax. Shoulders roll up, shoulders rotate externally, palms face forward. Palms come up over hearts. So I can say, thanks for joining us today. Namaste. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.